every night to get on this her mic. You know I'm alert, right? You know that it ain't nothing to serve, right? And I be killing tracks to the...
Welcome to 3 Con Commentaries. Let's talk about Smackdown for November 18th, 2022. All right, we opened the show with Drew McIntyre and the Brawling Brutes. Drew McIntyre and your boy Sheamus. They're talking about their 20-year feud. Sheamus said that that 20-year feud created mutual respect and a bond, and he asked Drew McIntyre to be his best man at his wedding, and that there was nobody he would rather be in the trenches with, and asked Drew to be an honorary brute, to which Drew accepted and said that the bloodline are multiplying like rabbits, but if he has to go to war, he's going to go to war with his brother. And then they hugged, and I was like, oh, look at the big muscly guys. But hopefully don't go no further than that, because we know what Sheamus' thing is. I don't want to talk about that. But who is their fifth guy going to be? Sami Zayn interrupted my dogs, saying that he doesn't care, and the bloodline doesn't care who this fifth guy is going to be, and said that they're feeling quite oozy about this whole thing. Then he said he ran through his list of nicknames, which is Sami Zayn, the master strategist, the honorary Oos, Sammy Uso, and Usi in the sky with diamonds. Then he said that he's not a man of guarantees, but he personally guarantees the bloodline will win war games. After which he's claimed that he's going to run through Butch in the World Cup tournament. Sheamus said that Sammy's going to crap his pants when he finds out who number 5 is, because he won't expect it. When Sami got backstage, Jey Uso was pissed, because once again, Sami Zayn had guaranteed victory, and Jey wanted him to stop running his mouth. They did a nice little situation here where they called Jey out for this. Like, what you think we're going to lose? He's like, no, it's just, I want you to stop running your mouth. Jimmy said they need to be on the same page because Roman was coming, and that they needed to hustle up, figure out who this fifth member is going to be. And that was the mission for the evening, to find out who the fifth member was going to be. The first person and the only person they harassed all night was Karrion Kross. Now, why, if anybody, you're going to harass Karrion Kross, of all people? Walked up to Karrion Kross to figure out whether he was going to be the fifth person for the Brawling Brutes. Karrion Kross just kind of stared at the Usos as if they were both made of garbage, and said that when he comes for Roman's titles, which he will, it will be on his own time, and he will not be a part of a pack. So the Usos was kind of like, guess not. Whatever. We're just going to continue doing our thing. Main event time. Butch versus Sami Zayn. Everything about this match was good. It was a good match. The Usos, of course, kept interfering outside the ring. There was also a brawl at ringside. So there was all kinds of chicanery going on outside the ring. Butch ended up pinning Sami Zayn with a roll-up, I think it was. Oh, that was a Shotzi match. Well, sorry. Spoilers. But Butch wins. Defeats Sami Zayn. The Usos and Solo Sikoa end up overwhelming the Brutes, beating them all up. Drew McIntyre marched to the ring like the conquering hero, beat up him some Usos. Then Roman came out there. Roman squared up with Drew for a little bit. Once Roman started getting the hands up, Kevin Owens' theme started to play. He walked to the ring slowly, and then him and Roman fought. He stunned Roman later in the fight scene. But what got everybody's intrigue, of course, was his stare down with Sami Zayn, because they actually have, and they kind of went away from it because Kevin Owens disappeared for a little while. But part of this was that Kevin Owens was trying to talk Sami Zayn into leaving the bloodline and not wanting him to be a part of it. So this is a good angle, Bubba Ray Owens fits. Thick boy Owens, he's here. King Kong Owens makes sense. Earthquake Owens, here he is. Tugboat Owens, he's right there. He was walking real slow because I heard he has some strains or something to his MCL. So he is injured, but he's going to be able to work the match. No doubt he's probably going to come in last in order to limit his time in the ring. That's if he's seriously injured and still injured. It makes sense for it to be him, considering I said, and I'm going to maintain, that the story is going to go, and they started this already, that Sami Zayn is going to be one who's going to get beat. And when Sami loses, it's going to make the bloodline look bad. And this is probably going to begin the turn of Roman and the rest of the guys not really feeling Sami. You know? They did a great job with the poster, too. Like, you ever look at the poster for War Games, everybody's got their best meme mug on, except our pal Sheamus, because banger after banger after banger. And that's what this is going to be. And Sami Zayn, who looks scared. And it fits his character perfectly that he's the only one that's really concerned about being inside of a cage with 9 other people. Even though 4 of them are on his side. It's great. They're really knocking it out of the park with the Sami Zayn stuff. Pretty much every week, anything that involves the bloodline has been gold. Jey Uso broke again this week at the secret handshake of Jimmy and Sami. I think he's just saying, fuck it now, man. Like, we might as well just go ahead and start laughing on camera. But they're doing an excellent job of building intrigue and telling the right story with this angle. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thought they really did a good job furthering everything tonight. So this was great. And they even, took the time to explain Drew and Sheamus, knowing that they just had a long feud against each other. Sometimes I'm kind of on the wrestling side where you don't really need to explain why you're buddies all of a sudden. Instead, you could have just had Drew say, look, the bloodline screwed me out of a title. I owe Roman Reigns one. We might not get along, but, let's team up, one night only. And Sheamus was like, okay, sure, one night only, or whatever. Rather than acknowledging their whole history and how they're now brothers and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, that's nice and all, but I don't know, it's a little heavy-handed for me. But I didn't hate it. So all of this was pretty great. Sami Zayn is really just, he's in a feud that involves Roman Reigns and he stands out. That's character. That's persona. That's personality. Because again, everybody treats him like a character on a sitcom. It's like when Kramer comes onto Seinfeld and the crowd stands up. Like when JJ comes on screen in Good Times, he has to pause so everybody can clap for him. That's how Sami Zayn is now. It's not a regular wrestling pop. It is a live studio audience loves this character and now he's on the screen pop. And that rules. I'm not going to hold you up. That fucking rules. All right. So speaking of that World Cup thing, Mustafa Ali wrestled Ricochet. Ricochet won the match. It was good, competitive match, maybe a little too competitive given that they had Mustafa Ali come to the ring injured. He was supposedly still hurt from his match with Bobby Lashley. Ricochet, being a good guy, asked him if he wanted to step out or, whatever, but Ali continued to fight. Even during the match when Ali couldn't really move, couldn't really, do too much, Ricochet wanted to give him a way out. But Ali continued to fight back. The finish ends up coming with a standing shooter star press, which is Ricochet was on the top rope and Mustafa Ali was standing. And then Ricochet did a shooting star press while he was standing up. It was wild. He pinned him. Wild stuff. Really wild stuff. So Ricochet will now go on to wrestle Braun Strowman. But Braun Strowman had a bit of a day himself. And it all began with the New Day. The New Day were disappointed, not just in Xavier's Action Jackson mustache, but also that their record was broken. And there wasn't much they could do about it. They couldn't stop it. They were interrupted by Imperium, where Ludwig Kaiser told them they were making a mockery of the business, and for the last 8 years, that's all they've done. So Ludwig Kaiser dressed them down and said that Imperium now has taken up the mantle and the responsibility to restore honor to the mat and to this great sport. Kofi then jumped in and started stammering about how Gunther looks like Lurch from the Munsters. Then said it's got to be your uncle. It's got to be your uncle. Xavier Woods challenged him to a 6-man tag. Gunther very calmly, oddly enough, said that New Day have been proving their point, and he thanked them for proving their point. So the match, 6-man tag, New Day and Braun Strowman versus Imperium. Gunther running away from Braun Strowman. Some people might have, feelings about this. Gunther is a bit of a bruiser. He's a bit of a bully. And here comes this 6'8" wall of muscle, and he's like, no. No. And he's going in a different direction. Gunther looks great too, but I mean, Braun Strowman is like, it's crazy. This guy's built like an oak tree, so it's a little bit different. So they had Gunther play basically the chicken shit heel the whole match, and New Day and Braun Strowman win. I was cool with this. I didn't hate Gunther showing a different side of his character, that he's not really interested in brawls with strong men. It's just smart. And it's also really good heel heat, because the moment he started backing away from Braun Strowman, he got more boos than he got wrestling 15, 20-minute matches, because people are going to appreciate banger after banger after banger, but nobody will ever support cowards. That's why heels should always be cowardly, unless you're Brock Lesnar or something like that. In which case it wouldn't make sense for you to flee, unless your opponent is John Cena and he's just as big. But in most opportunities, the heel should get the hell out of there, and it should be believable that he wants to get the hell out of there. And Gunther did a good job here. And they also foreshadowed the end of the tournament, because now, Gunther is probably going to try to do something to get Braun Strowman out of this tournament. And I can't wait for that. That ought to be fun, right? So Braun Strowman is going to the next round of the World Cup tournament. And after he spent the final part of his tag team match chasing Gunther down, couldn't catch him, couldn't find him, because he got the hell out of there. He backstage told the microphone holder, I don't know which one it was, that he was going to win the Intercontinental Championship tournament. Ricochet then saddled up next to him and says that he shouldn't overlook the flippy flippers, which is, of course, in reference to Braun Strowman's comment about flippy flippers after his match with Omos at Crown Jewel. Clearly, they're going to use this in the storyline. I don't think it'll change that much, outside of maybe Gunther doing something, maybe pushing him into the ring post so he gets counted out, or having Kaiser and the other one grab him and hold him outside the ring or something like that, so he won't have to deal with it. But I definitely see Imperium going out of their way to be dastardly and to get Braun Strowman out of this match. So I expect Ricochet to win, not the tournament, but at least beat Braun Strowman. But it's probably going to be by count out or disqualification or something like that. But they're doing a good job of foreshadowing that too. It's good foreshadowing that they're doing here. So can't complain about that. All right, so Madcap Moss is hanging out with Emma. He's backstage. He's talking like Jordan Grace, or he's got the Newport voice. So he's been smoking them, smoking that bullshit. I can barely talk. It's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That Kross jacket. And he was really down bad, saying that he was feeling humiliated. Emma gave him some words of encouragement, talked about how he was quicker than Karrion Kross and how he needed to use that explosiveness and that agility. So that was nice. Very nice of her. Madcap Moss wanted a rematch, so he got it. Madcap Moss versus Karrion Kross. They gave Moss a little bit more in this match by letting him attack a little bit more furiously on Kross, keeping Kross on defense, making Kross fight to get the control of the match. In the end, Kross, of course, wins with the Kross jacket. He once more holds on a little bit longer than he probably should have, until more officials came out and he let it go. Emma then came out to the ring to check on Madcap Moss. So they're putting Madcap Moss and Emma together on screen because they're together off screen. And this, for some reason, upset people. I don't know why this would be. Why would this upset you? I don't know. I would wonder what kind of empty, humorless life you would have where somebody wants to do something with their boyfriend or girlfriend, even if they're just shacking up temporarily, and it's actually to the benefit of both of their careers. Why is that a problem? So, I don't know. And it's crazy because people are talking like both of these people are going somewhere. It's like Madcap Moss literally has nothing going for him outside of this storyline where he keeps getting choked out by Karrion Kross. He literally doesn't have anything else going for him, and neither does Emma. Emma lost her first match, hasn't had a match since, and has just kind of been chilling. We need some storyline, some character development, some stuff going on here. And if they can help each other, I don't see what the problem is. But apparently there is a problem. I think it was Allison K. I'm looking for the tweet myself. I didn't screenshot it. But basically she said something to the effect of, just because y'all fucking doesn't mean you have to tag together. And I'm thinking what better tag team partner than the person you fucking? I don't see what the big deal is for this situation. It's like we get it. Some people are lonely and they got nothing, but if it benefits both parties, it's not a problem for me. And Madcap Moss to me is somebody who has a lot of potential. He reminds me a lot of Braun Breaker, in so much as he has a lot of explosiveness. Like if you watch Madcap move around the ring, how he hits with some authority, he moves his opponent around, he moves himself around. Man, he's got some quickness to him too, and he got that power to him. He needs some color though. He needs a personality. He needs something, he needs to raise his profile up. I've been saying that, for the last couple of weeks, that it's been Madcap Moss, Austin Theory, and Braun Breaker. Those are your three. If you're celebrating the 10 years of the Shield, that's probably your three guys right there, along with Carmelo Hayes, that you should probably look into building the company around for the next 4 or 5 years. Madcap Moss has proven that he's got promo ability because he did that silly joke gimmick, and that kind of proved that he can actually cut promos and he can actually cut character promos. But once he kind of moved away from that, he had nothing. So now we got to give him his personality back. We got to give him his voice back. Him having Emma there to pick his chin up when he's feeling down, that's going to benefit her if people actually start to like him. But we got to get people to like him, or we got to get somebody to like her so they'll care that she likes him. People are not going to just like the relationship just because. You have to give them reasons. And they're doing a good job of it right now by having Emma be giving him a pep talk. And if they do something where Scarlett actually wrestles and she has to wrestle Emma, that could be something. Because Scarlett has been a problem with outside the ring, raking at the eyes, punching people, slapping people, interfering in various ways. So maybe she needs some more heat. I don't know. Maybe not, because she did do a lot of interfering with that whole Drew McIntyre thing. But I don't know if she can get Emma over yet. I'm just not sure it could work yet. But I'm welcome in the attempt, because Madcap Moss is probably worth it. He's a good little prospect. Shayna Baszler was defeated by Shotzi, despite the fact that Ronda Rousey is outside the ring, completely, totally being annoying. Shotzi, her offense did not look very good. It wasn't that she was poorly performing anything. It's just that none of it looked convincing. None of it looked like it hurt. None of it looked like, she's going to knock you on your ass. Raquel Rodriguez came out there to even things up when Shotzi was outnumbered. So I'm guessing that's the tag team match that we're about to have is Shotzi and Raquel versus Shayna and Ronda. Okay, fine. I know some people who are Shayna Baszler fans are not happy that Shotzi is beating up on Shayna Baszler. I've kind of gotten, I don't know, man. I like Shayna Baszler, but I also know that she's older. She's like, in her late 30s, and Shotzi isn't. So if she came sooner, maybe I'd be more upset about this, but I'm not upset about this. Sorry. The only problem I think a lot of people are having a problem with the lack of depth for their women's division on SmackDown because they don't have too many storylines. But I don't know. There was no Hit Row this week. There was no Nakamura this week. There was no Legado del Fantasma this week. So they had a solid show. It didn't bring out everybody. But, of course, the A-plus material on this program was the Bray Wyatt LA Knight program. And this has been a little bit divisive, even though I think it's been overwhelmingly positive. It's been a little bit divisive because a lot of people don't like Bray Wyatt. But his promo, when he came out, he says that he started to realize that he's been conditioned to behave a certain way. To be strong, to take, and that fear is respect. And that he woke up one day to find ashes and blood left behind. It says, cannot change. It says if he was LA Knight right now, he would know how to handle the situation. So he wanted to apologize to LA Knight for what he did. And he had a moment of weakness and strayed from his current path. LA Knight came out there, wanted to talk to us. Let me talk to you. Said he's been hot all week because of what Bray Wyatt did, and now he's apologizing, so now he's conflicted. He claimed to look in Bray Wyatt's eyes, and Bray Wyatt respects him because Bray Wyatt knows that he doesn't fear him. And now he's out here apologizing, and he says, you know what? Apology accepted. And he smacked him and ran. Which was great. He smacked him and ran. Bray Wyatt just kind of was like, okay. He kind of nodded, and LA Knight backed up a little bit. He backed up. Then Bray Wyatt put his hand out and says, okay, now we're even. Now he says, I'm gonna fight these urges about what I want to do to you, because I want to say that we're even. I had my moment of weakness. You had yours. He put his hand out, and LA Knight slapped him again and ran again. So this was great. So the Tron is lighting up. It's showing you Uncle Howdy on the screen as LA Knight is still talking. He just never stops talking. He said he's talking about how he want to do that all week. How do you like that? That's money right there. He's just going on and on. And if you have to pay attention backstage to the Tron, which is flashing the Uncle Howdy stuff. So this was great. Wyatt was at the ropes, having a shining moment. I mean, you remember The Shining, where whenever they were going through it, they just had this bug-eyed, that's what Wyatt was boiling. So LA Knight decided to get the hell out of there because he did enough damage for today. Yeah. So he's on his way out. And, the microphone holder runs up to him and says, it looks like you're trying to get out of here, like you're trying to leave. He's like, nope, I proved my point. You don't see me scared of Bray Wyatt. I'm getting out of here. Not afraid of him at all. Nice little shot here because you can see Uncle Howdy, the mask, in the doorway as they are watching LA Knight leave. And then we go to commercial break and we come back and LA Knight is just killed. He's dead. And he's laying under mounds of rubble. And it was a great visual. So it was a great story in 3 parts where, Bray Wyatt accepted that he made a mistake headbutting LA Knight last week. Wanted to apologize, make amends. He's trying to be a more pacifistic Bray Wyatt, but, LA Knight is an antagonist. So it is not working because LA Knight doesn't want it to work. He wants to make a name for himself, so he smacked him. And this is the consequences. The old equation. Y plus fucking around equals finding out. So, you already know how that goes. So, so that, so what made people are so upset about is that they think that Bray Wyatt is cutting the same promo over and over again. Despite the fact that WWE is written for children, I don't see how to understand how adults keep missing the point of these promos. The point of the promos is for Bray Wyatt to say something and then for Uncle Howdy to counteract it. So it's like Bray Wyatt would say the pen is blue, and then Uncle Howdy would show up and say, "You know that pen is red, man. You know that. I know that. All the good people know that the pen is red." The point is to telling you that is showing you, building the story, slow burn, that Uncle Howdy is going to do the opposite of whatever Bray Wyatt wants to do. And that Bray Wyatt is trying to walk a new path, which is a similar thing to what he did before when he redesigned his character towards the Fiend. It took some time to reintroduce that character, to set up what the character's storyline and arc is going to be. I don't know why they just want to throw him in the ring and to say he should be feuding with X, Y, and Z. It's like, no. You set up the angle, you set up the story so people can understand it. It's literally a children's show written for children. A child should be able to follow this angle. The only thing is sometimes Bray Wyatt's his approach to cutting promos is a little bit preachy, and it does somewhat feel repetitive. It can. But if you're paying attention, if you actually care, then it's okay for you not to care. I mean, it's just, it's wrestling. You're not handcuffed to caring about any of this shit. But to say I don't understand is to say that you haven't been watching the show. Unlike AEW or anything else, there's no extra information required. If you're watching the show, Bray Wyatt says that he doesn't want to do these things anymore. He doesn't want to be this person anymore. Uncle Howdy says, this is who you are. Revel in who you are. That's what you're going to do. Therefore, Bray Wyatt wants to forgive LA Knight for what he did. Uncle Howdy doesn't want to forgive LA Knight for what he did. Therefore, Uncle Howdy beat the fuck out of LA Knight. Period. It's not, it's not Chinese math. Okay? It's pretty simple. Now, the reason why they're feuding is that's the trick. Because it's like, why did Bray Wyatt approach LA Knight? What was it about LA Knight specifically that Bray Wyatt felt like he needed to go talk to him? Because he had been on TV for, I don't know, 6 weeks already without having any kind of interaction with anybody else. And then out of nowhere, he just started talking to LA Knight. But it works for LA Knight to escalate because he's an antagonist. This is what a true antagonist does. An antagonist antagonizes. Him and Bray Wyatt was trying to be respectful. LA Knight doesn't care about that. He has to say what he wants to say. He wants to be disrespectful, and therefore he does. And then he got headbutted for it. People like that. But Bray Wyatt said that was wrong. I'm not that guy. I don't want to, I had a moment of weakness. I shouldn't have hit you. I'm sorry. I didn't even understood when he got hit back. Like, okay, that just kind of goes with it. But then when LA Knight doubled down, all right, now he's gone too far. This stuff is pretty simple. And it's okay to not like it, but to say that, I don't understand, what is the promos about? It's like, are you listening to them? Or is it like you are going into the promo not to understand it and not to care about it? But again, it's like, there's no, in the past, maybe the Bray Wyatt promos rambled and had no purpose to them. But the point of these promos now is to be therapeutic for the character. The character is trying to expunge who and what he is. But the demon, Uncle Howdy, will not let him. And now LA Knight won't let him. Because LA Knight is now, has to fight somebody. And for people who are like, LA Knight shouldn't be the guy taking the L in this situation, I can understand that. I can understand you say like LA Knight probably shouldn't be the guy who's going to go out there and get beat by Bray Wyatt. You know, why can't it be somebody else? I was like, so I'm looking at it from this perspective. When you look at SmackDown, who's the top guy? Top guy is Roman Reigns. After that, it's a toss-up between Sami and Bray Wyatt. Okay? You can't go you can only go one person higher. Right? You can only go one higher for LA Knight. So if he loses to Bray Wyatt, so what? Bray Wyatt is one of the top guys on the roster. To put him in that position where he can get into promo duels, he can cut promos on this guy, he can get heat on this guy, he can get in the ring with this guy. That's a huge push. For this to be his first official feud, outside of the whole Maximum Male Models thing, which, you know, really didn't even count, is just kind of a springboard for him to change his character. This is excellent, you know? And to be quite honest, if he was feuding with somebody else, even if he won, nobody would really care. You know, let's say he was feuding with some middling babyface, some Kofi Kingston or something like that. He may still cut really good promos and have matches and win, but he will be beating people that everybody knows are middling baby faces and nobody would care. Nobody cares that he loses to Bray Wyatt. It's like losing to Roman. Again, when somebody is so over, losing to them doesn't really bother you or hurt you as much as people think it does. It only really benefits you to be in that spot for a specific amount of time. You know, that's why everybody wanted to work with Hogan, despite the fact everybody knew they're taking a leg drop. You know, people were vying to get in the ring with Steve Austin, knowing they're going to catch a stunner. This dude is out here selling merchandise. His ratings are popping and everything. You want to be in that spot? If you want to be a main eventer, you should want to be in that spot. So this is a good spot for LA Knight, period. Even though most of us know he's not going to win. You know, it's not relevant. Him being in my only problem is the feud feel like it's going to be short. Like, it feel like it's going to be 2 weeks. They have this match of Survivor Series and then that's it. I think they need to push it. Like, have the match at Survivor Series, but try to drag it out. Maybe have a Wyatt TV match, you know? But I don't know. You know, I don't know what their plan is beyond Survivor Series. But I think it's a really good deal for LA Knight, being an older wrestler who doesn't have a lot of time left. You know, this is a good paying spot for him. Win, lose, or draw, this is fine. For Bray Wyatt, it's a good first opponent. It's somebody who can talk and defend himself in the ring. He's not a small guy. He's a decent worker. He's not the best wrestler in the business, but he certainly ain't the worst. He can do a little bit in helping Wyatt have better matches, you know, but I'm not really a match quality guy anyway. I don't expect this match to be some 25-minute banger. This match is going to be 10 minutes at the most. A lot of smoke and mirrors. LA Knight's going to lose. He's going to go out there next Friday or the Friday after or whatever, cut a promo, let me talk to you, and get right back over, and nobody's going to care. Then Bray can move on to other things. But you can't do Bray and Roman. You can't do that. So this is okay. This is fine. This actually says that they think highly of LA Knight, that they see him as a viable opponent for Bray Wyatt. So, oh no, my books and fell off my bookshelf. Jesus H. So that's an omen that I need to wrap up. So SmackDown is fine. It was a pretty good show. The bloodline stuff was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed all of that stuff. I have, of course, enjoyed everything that involved Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. That was very fun. They need to work a lot more on the women's division, specifically on this Shotzi Ronda thing. They really need some help there. They need to do something to spice the women's division up. The World Cup thing is pretty cool. I don't know when Escobar is going to wrestle again. I don't think that, Legado del Fantasma are over enough for you to take them off TV for 2-3 weeks at a time. I think they need to be seen a lot more. Like, get them over, and then you can put them in a position where they don't need to be on TV every week. But they need to be cutting promos or something every week. They need to be doing something. They need to be seen. They need to be visible every week. But I appreciate, at least, that Triple H is trying to rotate talent a lot more than Vince did. So, so that's a positive. All right. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Thanks for your time.